Okay, guys. So for the next part of the movie poster, we're going to start working on the digital photo editing portion. So my plan is this. I want this project to incorporate both Photoshop and Illustrator so we could start to transition into Illustrator later this year basically. So I'm thinking the first half will be organizing our photos for the poster, and then we'll save the document and we'll be able to open it in Illustrator. And Illustrator is just so much easier to work with when it comes to text. So my plan is to make our logo and all of our general information, like the premiere date and the tagline and all that other fun stuff. And that stuff will be Illustrator related. Any questions about that? So, guys, listen up, please. So, I already saved some photos already, as did you guys last time. So, some different Good Burger photos here. And my rule as far as the photos go is that you can't use the existing movie poster photo. And that also, I want you to combine at least more than one photo to create your version of the poster. That's basically my requirement. I'm going to show you a lot of different options and different effects you can do. You don't have to use any of them. It's really what's going to work best for your poster. I'm just going to try and show you everything so you have a lot of different options. Okay. So I'm going to open just all of these in Photoshop just so I have some options of different things to choose from. And I thought I could use different backgrounds rather than just the boring gray. That one's the inside of the Good Burger. What'd you say? Well, the thing is, I figured if I used the bigger version of them in front, I could cover that. So that's something I'm considering. I just picked a few just so I have it, and I have a few options. And I chose the outside of the Good Burger too. So just so to give me some options. And I know it's tricky because my movie poster definitely has to be vertical. And I'm probably just going to build it right on top of my sketch here too, so I know where everything goes. I tried looking for a good fast food counter, but I had a hard time finding something that was kind of retro and matched. So guys, I need you to make sure that your screens are minimized and that you're looking up here, because otherwise there's really no point in doing the demo. So, um, when I'm looking here at my different options, I want to make sure my layer is unlocked, and I can use either a quick select or a magic wand. I think I'm going to use quick select to get rid of some of the gray stuff that I don't need here. Took my little drink here, so I'm going to hold the Alt key so I get that back. Oh, took some of his hat too. Cool. I'll start with that. And we'll get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. I'm going to Control D to deselect all the stuff I don't need. And I can always use an eraser to touch up. I'm not going to really perfect it a ton today just because I don't want us to get really bored here. So I removed my background. I still have to touch up around Kel's hand, but that's okay. So let's drag this onto our document we made yesterday. Ooh, tiny. I'm going to do Control T to blow them up. And they'll, excuse me, they'll probably be a little fuzzy until you hit enter, and that's okay. But I don't want anything important cut off, especially what's in their hands. And I definitely need something at the bottom below them. Why do I definitely need something below them? Because they're cut off. I need to camouflage it, work it in somehow. Okay. So I have them here, so that's a good start at least. And then, do we have any ideas about what we could do as far as the background goes, or adding something else in front? What do you think? The inside or the outside one? Outside one? Yeah, we could do the outside one. So I can unlock that, and let's see how that looks. Let's give it a shot. And we'll drag that below like that. We'll Control T. And I definitely want the sign to show because that's very important, obviously, to the idea of the movie. And maybe in the blank area of the sky, I could do the tagline, which would be good. Way too big. Oh, way too big. We got to shrink that down. So at least something like that, I get like the top half of the project pretty much filled in, which is good. So far so good. That's not bad. I just have to figure out what I want to do with the bottom. So like I'm going to put a lot of text there anyway, and if I look at some of my movie posters, especially if it's going to say probably like the premiere date, and perhaps it's even going to say the movie logo there, like what could I put there instead to just sort of be my placeholder, because I don't want anything busy, I wouldn't want to put it on their pants or something like that. So what are some options to put at the bottom here?
Yeah, like a car. Or like the hood of a car.
You could do the hood of a car, you could do a color, you could do like a simple color. Those are all really good ideas actually. Let's do a simple color just to start, because you already know how to put the photos in, right? So there's a lot of things we could do. Can even show you if you want to fade it into something. That's a cool effect. I think I'm going to show you that one next. So if you probably will see your little paint bucket tool, which is like halfway down in your toolbox. If you hold it, you'll find your friend the gradient. And when they updated Photoshop, they made the gradients so much better. So you got this nice drop down at the top here, and they've divided them into like a billion different categories. So you can go by colors and things like that. I like to go to the basics and pick one that's like partially transparent like that. We're kind of lucky that it's already blue, but I could always go to window, gradient, and you can you can change the color a little bit too. But you could even go in and create like a new gradient and change your colors as well. You could start with, forgive me. So you could start with a transparent one like that, and then you could pick like a different one, if you wanted it to be green or something, depending on what your project was. So it is changeable if you want that to happen. Anywho, I already like the blue, so I'm going to stick with it. What I'm going to do is the blue is at like the beginning and the transparent is at the end. So if I click and pull up, you can notice that it starts out like the blue on the bottom, and then it goes to transparent at the top. So I want to make sure I'm doing that on its own layer though, because that may not be good. History. So I'll put a layer over it. And I'm going to use this one, which is like a linear one. So I'll start at the bottom, and then it will get transparent as I go to the top, which is pretty cool. And let's hide all my sketchy stuff from before that look kind of like icky. So that gives you a really cool effect that way too. So I can have that kind of bluish that matches the sky, matches their outfit. And then we'll never see those checkers again. It's really just that they're transparent at the moment. But it gives us a really good way to like start making it a nice transition. Again, if you want to go in and you want to adjust your gradient, you can select one here, and you can adjust it a little bit. Come on. And like I like to do here, you could drag it over a little bit more so it's less or more transparent. So you have different options with that too. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? A few other things to keep in mind. Just kind of a review. If you need to make parts of a portrait darker or lighter, you've got your burn tool over here. If you want to make something darker, maybe I want to go in on the Good Burger sign and I want it to be a little darker so it stands out. Or I can use my Dodge. Dodge will make things a lot lighter, so that could be helpful too. There's other things we could try. You could go in, if you need to adjust the coloring on anything, you can go to your hue saturation or control U, so you can adjust colors of things as needed, your saturation and your lightness as well. Are there any other things that you could think of photo editing wise that would be important for you to know? think we have most of them, to be honest. But if there's anything else that really comes to mind, I can help you just come around and individually help about different types of editing and things like that. You could even mess with some of the colors of the photos if you want to go to image adjustments. And I like to use like levels is a good one when you're dealing with like your shadows and your highlights. So they got a little washed out there, but I can also make the pictures a little bit bolder too and make them stand out a little bit more compared to like the kind of faded out picture in the background. So stuff like that works out well for you too. Those are the big ones that I tend to use. Anyone have any other questions? Anything else they want me to like go into a little bit before we get too far? So my plan is this. Today and next class period, I'd like to focus on just the photo portion alone. And then my plan is after that is that I was going to talk about like the photo part should be ready. And then we'll be able to go into Illustrator and start entering all the text. Sound good? All right, cool. Let's stick with that.